Hi, I'm Gus Morris with Prism Automotive in Cumming, Georgia. In the following video, I'm going to explain to you in the simplest terms how the brake system on your car or truck works. The overwhelming majority of vehicles today has disc brakes on the front and the rear of the vehicle. Some vehicles still have drum brakes, but for time's sake, we're going to just stick to the disc brake system. What I'll also explain to you is what to look out for with your brake system, what causes particular problems, and what type of repair is necessary to correct the problem that you're feeling. So let's get started. When you ask most people how their brakes work, they say, well, you press the pedal and the car stops. And then I say, well, that's exactly right, Al, and that's a good enough answer until there's a problem. Pressing the brake pedal starts a process. It forces a rod into the brake master cylinder, which causes a piston to move forward. This causes a pressure increase within the hydraulic brake fluid of the system. This pressure moves through the brake lines and into the calipers. The caliper pistons are then extended, causing the brake pads to be squeezed around the brake rotors. This pressure causes friction, and the brake rotor begins to slow down, thus causing the vehicle to stop. So what are some of the common problems that we see concerning brakes? One is a customer will bring a car in and say they have a concern with a soft or spongy brake pedal, or the pedal feels like it's going to the floor of the vehicle. A lot of times, most of the time, it's worn brake pads, and I have a brake pad here. This is actually a new pad. You can see by the thickness of the lining here. As the brake pads wear, you'll get a little bit more play in the brake pedal. You don't want this friction material to wear all the way off, because this is a metal backing here, and it'll run into the rotor and damage the rotor. If you have to replace rotors along with brake pads, your cost of doing the repair substantially increases. Another problem that will cause a spongy brake pedal is a bad master cylinder. You may have an internal fluid leak in that. And then another problem as far as a pedal going to the floor or a spongy brake pedal is an external fluid leak. And you may have a metal line that's rusted through that's leaking, or there's some rubber lines in the front of the vehicle that allow the wheels to turn. Sometimes those will leak, and then you may have a caliper or wheel cylinder that's leaking as well. Another problem that people experience is a brake pull when you're driving down the road. As you apply your brakes, you may feel your vehicle shift or swerve from one lane to the next. That's typically a restriction in one of the brake lines, and you won't have even pressure on the front brake calipers. Those are restrictions in the line. You could also have a sticking brake caliper. There's some slide pins that, if they're not properly lubricated, will cause that, and also you may have a piston sticking in the caliper, which would cause a drift of the vehicle when you hit the brake pedal. Another problem that we hear a lot is you get a pulsation in the brake pedal when you hit the brakes, or you get a vibration in the steering wheel. And this is called radial rotor runout, or in layman's term, it's just a warped rotor. Those can be fixed with either turning the rotor, putting it on a lathe and turn it if the rotor is thick enough. If the rotor, after you measure it, is below minimum specs as far as thickness is concerned, then the rotor has to be replaced. So that'll cause the shaking in the steering wheel and also in the brake pedal. Noises are another big concern that we run into, and noises are caused by several things. The dirt or contamination between the brake pad and the brake rotor. You'll get some noise from that. Also brake pads, again, if this lining is completely gone and that backing hits the rotor, you're going to get a grinding noise. You'll also get a squealing noise. Sometimes there are wear indicators built into the pad that when it hits the rotor, it'll squeal, letting you know that it's time to have your vehicle looked at. Some calipers have clips in them that'll hold these pads into place so that they don't move around, and those are rattle clips, and if those are missing or gone or worn, you can get some noise there. And then unfortunately, if you put a very inexpensive brake pad on your vehicle, you'll get some noise from that. Along with the noise, you'll get a lot of dust on the front wheels. So you don't necessarily have to get the most expensive pad, but a nice mid-grade pad will help prevent the noise and also the dust buildup on your front wheels. So in closing, when you notice something wrong with your vehicle, go ahead and get it looked at. You work hard for your money, and if you catch a problem early, typically you can take care of it with minimum expense. If it goes on further, you're going to be replacing additional parts, and that will significantly increase the cost of the repair. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.